she called back and said, I don't think it worked because I haven't had a miscarriage. See, it's something about 3 days.
There's something about 3 days.
Something about 3 days. On the third day, brother.
Most people only know you as music.
Yeah.
But in the little bit of time that I've known you, there's a whole bunch of sides to this.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm more interested in is Fred, the human, right?
Yeah.
So how did this all begin? Because a lot of folks, they see the now, but they forget the journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I've told it on different platforms, and it starts with, my mother and father, they were married.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
They were married. But here's the catch.
Yes.
To other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Now
were
we're getting
married.
closer, Fred. Okay.
They were married to other people, and my father was a pastor, and my mother was a musician at the church. And she was married to a very difficult situation. It was she was in a very not favorable situation to her as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old girl.
Sure.
And my father had a growing church, and they just, they ended up hooking up.
Sure.
And and my mom she knew that if it came out, because evidently her and her husband weren't sleeping together. So it was going to be found out. There was no way to hide it.
For sure.
So she went to have an abortion.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
She went to have an abortion. And it was legal back then. And she had it. She had the procedure. And yeah, she had the procedure. And the way they had to do it in order for the doctor not to go to jail is he had to create the miscarriage. And it was 99% guaranteed it was going to happen. 99%. And he said, well, go home and in 2 days, bring the fetus back. You're going to miscarry and bring the fetus back. And she waited 3 days.
That's a weird process, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah. But it was, they had to do something to create the miscarriage because at that point you could not, it was murder. So it still is. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was. And so they had rules, but they knew how to make it happen.
Sure.
And I forgot the name of the operation, but she had it.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 days, nothing. 3 days, she called back and said, I don't think it worked because I haven't had a miscarriage. See, it's something about 3 days.
There's something about 3 days.
Something about 3 days. On the third day, brother, she went on back.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
You know what it was? Here's what it really was. You needed to be here so that your man right here could know,
Amen.
that no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
So here's I'm gonna say something. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here legitimately twice, and I am supposed to be here ultimately because if my mom and dad had been appropriate, I'd never been here.
For sure.
And if the doctor had his way, I wouldn't have been here. And so she went back. They looked and examined and said it's still in there. I didn't have a name. I didn't have nothing to know. It was an it. And they said, we'll get it this time. And then she said, she felt like she was going to die, like the Lord was going to kill her. And she got up off the table, putting clothes on, running out to the place. And ta-da!